Okay, so enough ranting. We got some good news for once for the Toronto Blue Jays. They have added infielder Marcus Semien to a 1 year, $18 million deal. Um, in 2019, Marcus Semien. That's how it's actually pronounced. So my bad if I butchered that. He was third in American League MVP voting. And his stats were he was hitting 285 with 33 home runs and an OPS of 892. And this was reported by Keegan Matheson for MLB.com. So Mario, I think this is a good pickup, but one thing that's worrying me, and I'll give it to you so you can pick up on it. I think he needs to get back that 2019 form because in 2020 he wasn't really as good as everybody expected him to be.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Marcus Semien on becoming a Blue Jay. I mean, obviously the Blue Jays are getting a lot of key pieces to end up building that team, and the Blue Jays do have a lot of potential. They got a very young team behind them, and they're starting to get a couple more veterans, which I think is great for that team because I don't think a full young team is going to do it. What I will say is this: I absolutely agree with you. I think he had a little bit of an off 2020, but I mean 2019 he was amazing. I mean, we really want to talk about what he was doing for 2019. I mean, stats don't lie, Nate. Stats don't lie. This app. Stats don't lie. He had 33 home runs. He had an average of 285. Am I correct? Average of 285. He had 92 run RBIs. 10 stolen bases. I mean, let's be honest here. Marcus Semien has been a decent player throughout his whole career. Do I think he's a star? No. But I will say this. I think he is a decent player. I really do. Obviously, wherever he's gone, he's had a lot of success, whether it was Oakland, whether it was Chicago. Now he's going to end up going to the Blue Jays. And now the Blue Jays are building this great team. And I expect Marcus Semien to have a big impact on this team. Am I expecting him to be the MVP? No. I think if anybody on that team is going to be an MVP, I think it's going to be George Springer, period. Okay? And then in the future, maybe it'll be Vlad Guerrero. Maybe it'll be Biggio. Maybe it'll be help me out here.
Bo Bichette, Vlad.
Bo Bichette. It could be any one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? They have such a young team. In the future, it could be any one of those guys. But as of next year, if they're going to have an MVP, I think that's going to be George Springer. But I do expect Marcus Semien to have a big impact on his team. We're expecting high things from the Blue Jays. You know what I'm saying? We're expecting high things from the Padres. Why are we expecting high things, Nate? Because they're making all these offseason acquisitions. Okay, we expect high things from the Yankees every year. Why? Because they're making these offseason acquisitions. Okay, because these guys, for some reason, and because with the Yankees, we're not going to stay on the subject, but they get these huge guys for a huge amount of money, and then all of a sudden, they can't get over the hump. I don't like the Blue Jays. I don't want to see that happen with them. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, I kind of do because we're Red Sox fans. But I mean, like, not reach that full hump, the high peak of the mountain. You hate to see the Padres and the Blue Jays not make it with such talented teams. You know what I'm saying? And that's not just MLB. That's with any sport. Okay, you get this insane team, you're expected to do great things. Okay, it's as simple as that. The more you do, the more of a standard, the more of a championship standard you have. It's as simple as that. Okay, you're not just gonna grab all-star here, an all-star there, former MVP here, former MVP here, an all-star right there, an almost all-star right there, and you're not a Cy Young winner right there, and you're not, and it just be like, oh, well, you know, if they have a 500 record, that's okay, or if they make it to the first round, or if they don't go to the MLB championship game or the MLB World Series, excuse me, then it's okay. No, we expect you to get there. With that huge of a team, we expect you to get there. And that's what every sport, we expect that. So, I mean, I'm wishing the Blue Jays the best of luck, but I absolutely agree with you 100%. He cannot play like he did in 2020. In 2021, he needs to become that Marcus Semien that we are accustomed to seeing, okay? The one whose career average is 254. The one who has 380 RBIs. The one who has 830 hits. We expect that out of Marcus Semien. And I'm not saying I expect him to be an MVP. What I am saying is I expect him to have a big key part in this roster. I expect him to start. Obviously, I expect him to be in that starting starting lineup. And I expect him to do great things. So with that being said, I'm just going to end it with best of luck to the Blue Jays, and I hope they can reach the gold standard that a lot of people are holding them up to.
Right. And before we end, I just want to put my thoughts out there. First of all, congratulations to Marcus Semien and the Blue Jays. I think he's gonna. I think he'll fit relatively well in the Blue Jays starting lineup. And offensively and defensively, like I said before, he just has to become that player he was a couple seasons ago. You know what he did in 2020. And I understand a lot of players were off, and Marcus Semien was definitely one of the more disappointing players. You know, up there with like Christian Yelich and Rafael Devers, who were expected to make such a big impact last season, and they just didn't. So I can't really blame him because last year was just very unorthodox, I guess you can say. But this year is different. No 60 games. It's a full on 162 game season. You gotta show up for this team. You gotta show up and show out. Defensively and offensively. And I think him joining the lineup with George Springer, Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, Vlad Jr. You can't forget about my boy Vladdy. I think it'll be a really great starting lineup, and I think it's going to rival that of the Rays starting lineup. Still pretty solid. The Yankees and the Red Sox, they have a nice starting lineup too. But of course, like I said before, in the George Springer trade, my one concern of this team is the pitching. I have said this before, and we all know what pitcher is out there still. You know, the reigning NL Cy Young, Trevor Bauer. Every team's out there to get him, but yeah, that would be my one concern about the Blue Jays. You know, the pitching. But other than that, everything looks pretty solid. So I expect this team to do big things. They're rebuilding from what they couldn't accomplish in 2015 and 16. So I do expect this team to do a lot. Am I expecting them to go to the World Series? No. But am I expecting them to go to the playoffs, at least do some kind of damage? Absolutely. They did it last year. What makes you think they can't do it this year?
So see, that's where I disagree with you. I expect this team to make it to the World Series. I'm sorry. The more you get, the more I expect. I'm sorry, but like you can't just now look. If it's not this year, I expect it next year.
That's what I mean.
Like we said with the Padres, I'm giving it 2 years, Nate. That's it. You got 2 years to make that work. We said the same thing with the Padres. The Padres start off with hitting. They got the hitting. They took Machado. They took Hosmer. Okay, now you're getting the pitching. Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove. You're getting these pitchers, right? Now we expect the full product out of the Padres. Same thing with the Blue Jays. I expect you to have a great season, okay? Actually, I expect you to make the World Series either this year or next year. I'm being honest. If it's next year, cool. But you know what? Like you said, you're absolutely right. They need pitchers. But if you're going to keep grabbing these players and you're not going to do anything with them, I'm going to be honest, you're just another Yankees team.
See, I get what you're saying. I don't expect them to make the World Series this year. Let me tell you why. You still got the Yankees to deal with. The Red Sox, if they get their heads out of their rear ends and get a pitcher, they could be a formidable foe. The Twins, the White Sox, maybe the Indians and the A's and the Astros. I'm not so sure about those last year, but they could be a threat. You got all these great teams. The White Sox are coming back. So are the Twins. The Yankees, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, they, like you said, they always get these great players and they just can't get over that hump. We don't know that yet. So with that in mind, you know, I can't expect them to make a World Series immediately because you got all these other great contending teams. I think they need time to actually contend with these teams. And then, yeah, like you said, 2 years. This year, if you don't make it, fine. But next year, gotta do it. I can agree to that, but I can't see them doing it this year. I just can't.
There's two. I'll say this. There's two different types of team building. I think in every sport. Okay. There's the one where you do it instantly. Okay. Getting George Springer is not a rebuilding process. Right. Getting Marcus Semien is not a rebuilding process. Getting all these guys that the Blue Jays have gotten, okay, is not a rebuilding process. Now, if you want to add the young guys, sure. Here's the thing. As soon as you grab George Springer, as soon as you were like, hey, this is the guy, let's sign him, I'm sorry, you're going in the win now mode. George Springer is a pro. Marcus Semien is a pro. We are not rebuilding. The rebuild does not exist no more. Now you're going in the win now mode, which is why I say the more you get in the MLB, especially the more better players you get, because let's be honest, I can grab some prospect who's only been there for 2 years and sign him. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can do that. But the more MLB all-stars you start getting, and the more kind of like players who, you know, kind of prove their way, the less time I think the less time the time's ticking. You know what I'm saying? The less time you have to do it, or else you're just going to end up falling back into that rebuild mode. That's the way it works. If you got a whole team and it's not working, then you fall right back into the rebuild mode. That's what it is. They're not going in the rebuild mode. As soon as you picked up George Springer, I'm sorry, you're not in rebuild mode no more. Which is why, like I said, if they don't win it next year, cool. I'm not going to say this was a fail. Actually, it might be. But here's what I will say. You got to next year to fix that pitching staff. Okay? I think if you can't, that's what you should be focusing on. The Padres did it. I don't know about you, Nate. I know the Dodgers are still out there, but I expect the Padres to be in the World Series this year.
Yeah, that's a different team. I expect that. As for the Blue Jays, I think they're in a similar situation as the Padres last season.
Next year, if they grab one all-star pitcher,
GG's.
I'm going to be honest with you, Toronto needs to start going. Because the more stars that you get, the less time you have until you just fall right back in the rebuild mode. That's how you know. Red Sox, let me be honest with you, Nate. As soon as they got rid of Mookie Betts, they're kind of slowly going into rebuild mode.
Right.
Okay? We don't know what's going to happen in the future for them. The Yankees, I'm starting to lose hope for them. I really am. And I'm a Red Sox fan. I don't wish any team bad luck. Obviously, the Yankees are our rivals. But when you grab Shane Bieber, DJ LeMahieu, LeMahieu. When you grab Giancarlo Stanton, when you grab you look at all the guys, Garrett Cole,
Corey Kluber.
Corey Kluber. You look at all the guys they have grabbed. When's it gonna happen?
Right.
You have not made that extra step, and you have the team to do it. That's the problem. So, look, I'm being honest with you. The Blue Jays' time it's running out and if it comes down to the point where you're getting all these stars and you're not making a World Series, first of all, I'm going to be honest, your cap is going up, your salary cap, you know what I'm saying?
Because now all these, especially all the guys coming off their rookie contracts, they're going to want their payday too.
Right. Well, your salary, you have less money in the team basically. So your cap's not going up; it's going down. Excuse me, I said that wrong. So there's that. You're going into win now mode, and you're not even doing it. This is the problem here. So with that being said, this year, do I expect them to be in the World Series? Look, if they go to the World Series, I ain't shocked. The Blue Jays go to the World Series, I ain't shocked. Next year, I'm expecting it. If you need to start working on that pitching. I expect it. Okay, because let me be honest with you. George Springer, I don't know how long he's been in the league, but this guy's been a veteran already. He's a pro. He's in his prime. How long are you willing to continue building this team with all-stars? And how long are you willing to kind of waste George Springer's career if you don't make those right moves? I wish the Blue Jays the best of luck, but they got to be in win now mode.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. But with that said, congratulations to Marcus Semien. Congratulations to Toronto Blue Jays. This is going to be a very exciting team to watch, and I'm excited to watch them play.